I'm Chef Susan O'Dell. Welcome to the Foodelle Kitchen. Artichokes, they are delicious, they're beautiful, they're unusual, but you need to know how to get to the edible part. This is a thistle and there's so many hard outlying layers that we need to get down to the heart. Or we can boil them and just scrape the nice meat off with our teeth. We're going to look at both ways to do that. These thistles are grown typically in the Mediterranean regions around southern Europe. In the United States, we get almost all of our artichoke crop from California. The prime season is in the spring and the fall. There's 2 harvests, but they typically harvest the artichokes all summer long, so keep an eye out for them in your store. Let's have a look at how to get to the good stuff. So first of all, let's talk about boiling the artichoke and cooking the meat so that we can scrape it off and eat it like an appetizer. First thing you want to do is cut off the tough stem of the artichoke. Then turn it around and cut off the pointy end here, just about, maybe an inch or 2 off. Now you can look inside and you can start to see the real goodness that's in there. We've got a dark choke that's the center and purple. We've got lighter green leaves around that, which are nice and soft and edible. That gets close to the artichoke heart. And then we've still got some tough outer layers. I want to boil the artichoke just like this, but because I've got such prickly leaves on it, I'm going to trim those with scissors. This helps that you don't prick your guests or create blood at the dinner table. These are just really hard and they'll prick your finger if you're not careful. I'm just using my kitchen sink scissors to go around the outside and trim off those tough edges. Once you've trimmed off all the little prickly bits of the outside leaves, I'm just going to boil it just as it is. I want to put it in some gently simmering water, and this is a medium-sized artichoke. I'm going to cook it for 25 minutes. If you have a huge artichoke, cook it for 30 to 35. You want to make sure it gets nice and soft all the way through. When you put it in the water, it wants to pop up with its inside facing upwards. That's okay, but you want it to cook evenly through. So occasionally come over to your artichoke and just use some tongs and flip it upside down and make sure that inside gets cooked as well as the outside. Once your artichoke has been cooking for 25 to 30 minutes, remove it from the water. You can kind of see that the inside has darkened a little bit and my leaves have started to separate. That's a good way to tell that it's done. I like to turn it upside down in a bowl just to drain any excess water out of it before I serve it. Now all you have to do is tell your guests how to eat it, and all you need to do here is pull out one of the leaves, dip it in your nice dip, your melted butter or your aioli, scrape that delicious flesh right into your mouth. Good. Again, there's not much food on here, just enough to give you a good flavor of artichoke. Boiling an artichoke and scraping the nice meat off in your teeth is one way to eat them, and the other way is to get down to the real heart of the matter, the heart of the artichoke, and that's where all the good meat really lies. As you eat a boiled artichoke, as you get closer and closer to the center, you're going to get more and more of that delicious flavor, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to cut down this artichoke and get just the heart so we can saute it for use in, anything, salads, pastas, whatever dish you happen to like. Let's have a look. So first I want to start just like I did with the other artichoke by cutting off the inedible base and the tip. A good inch, inch and a half off the top because I know these leaves at the top aren't going to be good to eat. Keep your board tidy and keep removing all of these, otherwise you're going to be overloaded with artichoke leaves. Now I need to go around and remove all of these tough leaves that are my outer layer. I'm just going to use a paring knife to start cutting those off and whittling them away. Just keep turning your artichoke round and round and cutting off those strong outer leaves. The artichoke starts to get more tender as you get towards the center. Easier to cut, leaves are easier to remove. That means you must be getting close. Now that I've gotten down to some pretty soft and lightly colored leaves, I'm going to cut more of the base off. This is where my stem was, and I know that this part is still pretty tough. So I'm going to cut a good chunk of that off. You can see I've got a few layers of very hard material that lead right up to these soft inner leaves. I'm going to get right to the base of those inner leaves while still leaving enough to keep the leaves intact. There we go. I'm going to trim my top once again so I can get inside to the choke. So I'm down to just a little bit of artichoke left. I've got all my hard leaves off my stem, my top. This is the choke, this fuzzy bit. That has to go too. So we're just going to trim around it and get rid of that. And then we've got our artichoke heart. Now one thing about artichokes is as soon as they are exposed to air, they start to brown. You want to keep the hearts in acidulated water, which all that is water with lemon or lime in it, or even just a little bit of vinegar. And that way it'll help keep the artichoke hearts from oxidizing until you cook them. So just use your knife and remove the choke. You want to get, gosh, as little as possible without taking too much of the heart away. Now that we've removed the tough stem and the tough outer leaves and we've gotten rid of the choke, all of the inedible pieces of the artichoke, we're down to the little heart. It is beautiful, it is delicious, it's nice and tender, but it is a bit of work to get to. You can certainly buy canned artichoke hearts or pickled artichoke hearts in a jar, and sometimes that's well worth it. But if artichokes are in season and they're plentiful and you have a good supply, try the fresh ones. They are really, really delicious. Bon appetit. And all you have to do with your guests is pluck out a leaf. It's too hot.